Hmm, who knew? It was nice to have a name for it, but what could I really do about it? Hello, friends, and welcome back to The Free Advantage, brought to you by The Risky Path. I want to invite you to join me each week as we explore self-discovery, authenticity, and the journey to uncovering a life of freedom. This podcast is about sharing and exploring impactful experiences that we all share in a relatable and digestible way. With so much information out there, it can be overwhelming to take it all in. And here, I want to give you small bites that you can take back into your week and integrate into your daily life. Hello, everyone. I want to just thank you all for tuning in every week with me. It has been such a pleasure and a joy in my life to get to share with you these past few months. And in light of today's episode, I am soaking in the joy. During this month's series of things that drive us mad, I realized I could have episodes on this topic forever. But I wanted to really zone in on some bigger things, not just the day-to-day stuff. I wanted to talk about the stuff that really gets under my skin. Things that we don't often think about. Now, I know we have all experienced this. The feeling we get when things are going really well. The sky is blue, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and everything is going our way. You may even feel it just hearing me say these words. But you know it. The feeling that starts to creep in, making us feel like something bad is going to happen. The feeling that sets us on edge, brings in anxiety, making us hypervigilant, waiting for the bottom to drop out, the other shoe to drop, and for all hell to break loose. Doom, 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 doom. I'm going to be honest, I have lived most of my life living with this feeling. Every time something good was happening, I felt like something bad was looming right around the corner. It wasn't until a few years back that I learned that there is an actual name for this feeling. And it's called Foreboding Joy. Who knew? It was nice to have a name for it, but what could I really do about it? I hated feeling that way, and I had no idea how to change it. It drove me mad. I felt crazy because no matter how good things were in my life, I just couldn't seem to enjoy them without a huge sense of worry. I have mentioned this before in earlier episodes, but I did a deep dive study on emotions a few years back, and I studied a book called Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown. And I highly recommend this book to anyone who wants to learn more about emotions, what they mean, and how they work. It's an incredible book. But during this study, I came across something that she called foreboding joy. She defines foreboding joy as the inability to fully experience joy because we're waiting for it to be taken away. She goes on to say that when we lose our tolerance for vulnerability, joy becomes foreboding. No emotion is more frightening than joy for us because we believe if we allow ourselves to feel it, we're just inviting disaster. I will be honest, when I read that, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And if I'm being really honest, I felt like the whole book did that to me. But this in particular was extremely eye-opening. There it was, in black and white. That's me. Instead of enjoying the good moments, I tend to brace myself. I start to prepare for the worst. I started running scenarios in my head about how this could all go wrong or how I could or if I could mitigate it. And for a long time, I thought that was really smart. I thought that if I expected the worst, I could somehow soften the blow when it came. But the truth? It doesn't work that way. All it does is still our joy before anything bad even happens. And sometimes, most times, nothing bad happens at all. And that just isn't walking in freedom. Doesn't that just drive you mad? It's just crazy. It is utterly crazy to think that we can out-worry bad things happening because we can't. But I'll tell you what we can do. We can out-worry our happiness, the good in our lives, and our joy. Doesn't that just irk you? It does me. And here's the problem with foreboding joy. It's a defense mechanism that doesn't actually work. It doesn't protect us. It doesn't prevent pain. It ensures we never get to fully experience joy. It keeps us stuck in a cycle of stress and anxiety and self-sabotage. It tells us that happiness is dangerous and that we're foolish to trust it. And the cost is huge. Because our joy isn't just a nice-to-have emotion. It's a necessary one. It is the thing that builds our resilience, our strength, and courage. It is what helps us get through the hard times in our life. It's not something we need to guard ourselves against. It is what brings us hope. It is what makes life enjoyable. So how do we break the pattern? How do we let ourselves feel joy without waiting for it to be taken away? First, we have to recognize it when it's happening. When you catch yourself bracing for the worst, pause and name it. Say to yourself, I am foreboding joy right now. And sometimes just calling it out can take away some of its power. Second, start practicing gratitude in the moment. Instead of shifting into fear, shift into appreciation. When joy creeps in, say, I am so grateful for this moment. We have to let ourselves feel it, really feel it for us to enjoy it. Third, remind yourself, preparedness and worry do not prevent pain. Just because we expect something bad to happen doesn't mean it will hurt any less if it does. But what it will do is rob us of joy in the meantime. And fourth, give yourself permission. It is okay to be happy without conditions, to enjoy the moment as it is, to trust that good things don't always have to end in disaster. I have spent so much of my life feeling like something tragic was always waiting to change my life. I hated it. For me, so many of the biggest changes in my life stem from tragedy. I experienced loss, struggle, and hardship. And when your mind learns to associate change with pain, it starts believing that joy isn't something to be trusted at all. It's something to be cautioned against. I didn't want to feel that way. But it's like my brain just assumed that if things were good, if I was happy, then disaster must be right around the corner. But it doesn't have to be this way. We do not have to live like this any longer. There are enough things in this world to drive us mad. This doesn't have to be one of them. I want to leave you with some questions to reflect on as we wrap up today. When was the last time you felt pure joy, but then immediately worried about losing it? How have past experiences shaped your ability to trust happiness? What would it feel like to fully embrace a joyful moment without bracing for impact? And how can you practice shifting from fear to gratitude this week? Joy is meant to be felt, not feared. It is not a setup for disaster. And if we can learn to lean into joy, if we can practice trusting it, even when it feels scary, we can start to truly experience the fullness of life. I want to thank you so much for joining me today on The Free Advantage. For more resources, visit my website, theriskypath.com. And if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And don't forget to please like, subscribe, and leave us a review. Your voice matters, and it helps us to grow and get our message out to more people just like you. Let's continue this journey to freedom together. And remember, freedom is the advantage you already own. Until next time.